Y'all are goats back for part 3 of week 14, I think it is. Edos with a shining grin on his face. Let's first, while Edos gets into character, because this part is important, we're going to go to Grakazza. Grakazza, you are on the bridge. There's no room for you to dock, and you have a medical emergency. Well, not really. She can't be brought back, but you want to get Edos somewhere where he's got some privacy.
Valerie, we need to dock pretty quickly. Is there anywhere we can land?
Can they land on the hangar? Can I get them
No.
there?
They have a Corvette.
All right.
We need to dock.
So are the other docks full at the moment?
Yep.
Okay. Well, here we have I'll rush back over to the other side. The one dock that I do have open, there's a bomb in that one, planted by some Imperial spies, and poor Tun and what was that? What's the one? What's his name?
Jeb.
Jeb have been dealing with one of the spies. Well, there's one that I think they're both dead by now. But anyway, it's kind of a zoo.
Oh.
So I know. And so if we open that one, things will go boom. That's why.
Well,
I know. As soon as I can clear one, or we can, hopefully, they can get that bomb out of there, and then I can open it up. So we're working as fast as we can. And then I have to. Also, one more thing, Grakazza, I have to tell you. And so this is where she's going to look around, make sure there's nobody around. Listen, we just realized something that's going on inside of you. You know those shards that went inside of your body when they blew up from the sarcophagus?
yes. What about them?
If we get you near the gate, we can go home. You're sort of the key. I'll explain it to you more when I see you, because it's a little involved in it regards. Then I have to use like a list, and I got to show you some stuff. But just anyway, be careful, because you're sort of like the key.
Okay, well.
But that's later. We can deal with that later. We need to make sure we get everybody on board and people who are hurt fixed, and
We also need to deal with the bomb that's on the Destiny Horizon.
That too. Hopefully that's being taken care of now, and I'm going to check on that, so I'll get back to you. Valerie out.
Grakazza, you're going to probably have to go tell the doc in Edos that it's going to be a bit.
Damn it.
So
Grakazza
you wander down into like a conference room that has been taken up for people who are wounded. It's very packed in here. So packed you can't even see where they are, even though it's just a small conference room.
I call out for the doc.
The doc kind of raises his clawed hand and motions you over. I'm sorry, Edos, she's dead. No heart, no life. There's nothing I can do. I've tried telling you this.
Should be alright. We just need to get to a back tank.
You killed her. There is no healing this. I can't rebuild the heart. She's done. Her brain is off.
Edos will just sit there and just hold her hand.
I wish I could say something to comfort you, but if you would like to buy some drugs from me later, let me know. And he turns away from you as Grakazza steps up. Yes, Grakazza.
I have grabbed the doc gently on the shoulder, and I start pulling him away from Edos.
Yes?
We're going to be a bit. We can't talk right now.
Well, there's no need to rush. There's nothing we can do at a medical facility. She's a goner. I've tried telling him this, but he's still convinced he can save her.
He's in shock. What about the rest of the wounded? Are they critical?
No, but they are complaining about the smell.
Oh, it's a minor inconvenience. Do what you can to comfort everybody. And no selling drugs right now.
He blinks. Right now?
We can talk about it later, but right now, just do what you can without getting
No
people
selling,
hooked on narcotics. No selling.
All right. I won't sell.
We'll talk about it.
I need to go.
Can
And you actually see him scuttle away really quickly.
Grakazza just shakes his head. It's like, oh god, what have I done?
All right.
And I slowly walk up to Edos and kind of sit next to him.
Yeah, her eyes are just staring up at the ceiling.
Yeah, I'll sit back a little bit and look over at Grakazza. She's right, you know. Nothing ever bad happens to me. It always happens to other people around me. I just can't seem to do right by anybody.
Well, you got us this far. You did something.
I got us this far because I was trying to get me this far. I didn't give a shit about any of you.
Yet, look around you. These people got out of there because, in part, you.
I should have let her people shoot all of you. Then I wouldn't have to be here like this. You got things to do. Why don't you just go and do them, and I'll be here.
I pat him on the back and then stand up and go back to the bridge.
Edos, you start thinking for a bit. She's still alive. She can be brought back. You just have to find a way to make that happen.
Can I do an education or maybe a lore thing? To, like, how can I bring her back is what I'm trying to remember.
I would do education.
Education? Okay.
Education is sciences and technology. Lore would be, religion.
Oh, yeah.
Or old stories in the past. I think education would suit you better. Difficulty on that's just going to be it's actually going to be a 3 or a 4.
Okay.
So I'm saying 3. How about 3? With the setback because you're so emotionally shook up.
Yeah, and I'm not calling on the force for this one because I wouldn't think about that. Yes! What? It feels so good.
The Stars Inn can go back in time.
I'm going to...
You don't know how it works, but you know Toon Po does.
Okay. I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna just kind of start talking to her, even though, I mean, she's dead, but talking about my past, with us growing up and stuff like that. Just so people looking in, they're like, okay, he's woohoo, gone.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Scene transitions to Toon Po. You are on the other side of the airlock door, and you look back, and it goes beep, 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 beep. What do you want to do?
Presuming I'm looking at the bomb, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Timpo's only thought for what he can do to try to maybe not save himself, but ensure that he is found. So he reaches up into his collar, tucked up into his collar, and activates. I have a little personal distress beacon, and I activate it so that it starts sending a pip, a ping, and then he braces and closes my eyes.
Yep. The bomb goes off. Fire expands outward towards the door. I need you to roll a resilience. Or a coordination if you want to jump behind something. Or an athletics if you want to try to, position good cover.
I think he's just standing there.
So resilience.
Resilience, yeah.
Yep.
Versus what? Sorry.
3. Because this thing is against you. It's short range.
Come here.
All right. So Valerie, you go to contact Toon Po. And that's when the lights flicker in the Destiny horizon. You feel a shuddering through the floor plates.
I look over at the other commandos that are left, and I'm sure there are alarms now going off for fires. And
yes.
Shit. Oh no. All right, I make sure that the fire suppression system is going to at least whatever fires are. Hopefully they're putting them out.
All right.
Is the cargo hatch door closed still, or has it been blown open?
It has been damaged, so it can no longer open.
Okay.
What is your soak, Toon Po?
3.
Okay, this bomb has blast 15, breach 1, vicious 4, 20 damage.
I have 27 hit points. No.
What is it?
D&D. It's D&D.
Isn't it like 12? Yeah.
Threshold is 12.
All right.
So would he still be alive? Because it doesn't have to be double.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Well, it is double. Or no, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. I'm
if it's
sorry.
20.
So Toon Po, you are down, and I need you to roll on the critical wounds table. But Valerie, when you try to contact Toon, there's no signal.
Does one of those give it a modification? The vicious?
Yes. Vicious 4, so you have to add 40 to it.
Is that critical roll offset or modified?
Yep. Critical roll offset.
Say 40 or plus 40?
It's plus 40 to whatever you roll. You could just, yeah. I think that's the offset is plus 40. We'll see. $110. Horrific injury. Roll a d10.
Oh, backslash, right?
Yeah, / roll space 1d10. 9. Your presence is lowered. So your presence goes from
3 to
3,
2.
is it? Yep.
Yeah. Boop. Okay.
All right. And what does that describe to me? What kind of a wound having your presence lowered? What does it look like?
Oh. Sorry, let me look at what presence is for.
I would say your face is fucked.
Negotiation, leadership, cool, charm. I was trying to think if any of those things would take penalties by having a permanent tinnitus.
No, probably not.
Those would be more like
More like,
attention and perception and
Yeah. I would say it's more
Probably
like
just
your face
injury
is
things.
damaged, or a horrific injury that people can see, or your vocal cords are damaged so you can't talk very well. So it's really hard for you to negotiate and charm.
right. Yeah, I mean, burn scars seems applicable.
Yeah, so your skin is all bubbly right now on your face, like half your face, because in last second your head kind of swung out this way, so your ear is singed and it's a lot smaller than it was, and your face is all bubbly. I need you to do something for me. I need you to select somebody else in the group.
Player, I assume. Not NPC. Not an NPC. Edos.
Edos, I want you
Yes.
to roll 2 green.
Okay.
Or, I'm sorry, a green and a yellow
Green and
versus 3 purple
yellow. 2, 3.
with
Okay.
2 boost die. 1 because he's undercover, and 2 because he's going to take Toonpo's roll.
Okay.
And I need you to roll a resilience check for Jeb.
Come on, Jeb.
Okay. He doesn't succeed, but he doesn't fail. So, I will roleplay what happens to him. I think what happens to him is he's just got broken bones. He's like thrown into the crates. Maybe he's knocked out a little more, has a concussion. All right. Toonpo, back to you. Your comms, it sounds like somebody's trying to reach you, but there's too much interference.
I think Toonpo opens his end of the comm and just starts tapping it against the floor.
Ting, 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 ting. Yeah. As you're tapping it, we're going to have a screen cut here. And the screen fades into an Imperial bridge where black leather boots are walking on the polished black floors up to an admiral who is standing watch. So we received a mysterious communication from one of our spies within the Destiny Horizon. He's dictated that his position is here and that they're getting ready for an assault. Now would be the perfect time to strike. Good. Those fueling ships that we managed to capture taught us a great deal about their technology. I think she's ready. They nod. And he looks out his window and you see the Eclipse-class Star Destroyer. A few moments later, all the Star Destroyers start to form up. And they go, pow, 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 pow. And the Eclipse is charges its engines, and then the General, or Admiral Thrawn, leans forward, grinning. I will get you, Destiny Horizon. And the ships, pow, blast off.
And your little dog, too.
Admiral Thrawn knows it's a long trip. He makes sure everybody on the ship is training constantly, that they're keeping ever vigilant, sharing his experiences with their invasion as they peppered the ship with drop pods, teaching his troops how to repel boarders, telling them what to expect and what kind of help to get, and also telling them all the information that he's gotten from his spy since then. They've got a little plastifilm of Edos' star taped up onto the whiteboard. It turns out that they've been starting bounties against him for the last week, raising the bounty pot just so that anybody who recognizes him can point him out in a crowd and find him. And then that's when this red light flashes and they're like, oh, what's going on? I don't know, something's happening. And they're pulled out of hyperspace by a giant gravity well. And Admiral Thrawn's eyes widen. He runs to the bridge. The doors open. He gets out and he looks at the windows. And for some reason, the coordinates that were sent him had sent the entire fleet to a freshly made black hole, which is sucking all of the materials from that solar system into it. He screams, "Pull out! Pull out! We can't! The electrical interference has fried our circuits! The eclipse takes too much energy!" My God! Some Star Destroyers are pulled sideways towards the hole to where they can't block out of it. Some of the smaller ships are able to break free because they have lower mass. For everybody aboard this doomed Imperial fleet, time slows down. Because the closer you get to a black hole, the slower time gets. Admiral Thrawn looks down at his blaster. A blaster that he received in a battle that fell from his adversary, Corrin Reed. And he pulls it out. Voodoo. Raises it up to his head. And then pauses. Weapons team. Fire our interplanetary destruction device. Right in the middle of that wormhole. Maybe we can destabilize it or something. Message the other ships to form on my wing. Get ready. And they all start running around trying to figure out what they're going to do about this mess. Meanwhile, the scene flashes to Valerie. She's still trying to reach Toon Po. She's not getting a response when all of a sudden she hears ting, 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 ting. You've been hearing this feedback through the comm system, but you realized it's having a pattern.
I'm going to get one of the how many commandos are left on the bridge?
Not many, but you actually do see the original comms and bridge Destiny Horizon team start walking in. Their clothes are tattered. They've been gone for months. They're soiled, and they're looking up. And that's when you notice Valeria walk in, and she's missing an arm, and she's holding her side, and she's bruised up. Her lip is split. One of her leku has been severed. And she just sees you. Valerie?
She runs over to them, and she puts her hand up to her Valeria's face, and she says, "I'm glad to see all of you. Take her quickly to the medical bay. Do you remember where it is?"
No, she shoves off. She shoves you away. She goes over to the bridge and starts barking orders at all of her original crew, so they start going back to their stations.
On the Destiny Horizon or the Starzan?
The Destiny Horizon.
The Destiny Horizon, okay.
She's like, what were you working on, Valerie?
There was a bomb that went off into one of the hangars, and Twin is down there. I think he's still alive, but I need to go down there and check.
No.
We had 2 spies on board.
You stay up here. I'll send my own men. We'll send the commandos to do their job now that they're not needed on the bridge. She turns away from you. And Valerie, They're civilians. They hit a lot of us military personnel when the hunters were trying to round us up for execution. We owe you.
I'm just glad you're alive.
The interns, they intercepted some information. They would like to see you. I don't know where they are.
Do you want me to go find them, or do you want me to stay here?
Go ahead and find them. That's why I'm sending someone else.
All right. So she's going to go and find the interns.
Now,
and as she sees the others, as she's coming by, she's, she's touching them and she's telling them, "I'm glad you're okay, and I'm glad you're alive." And if any of you
They're
go
all
to
very
the medical
gaunt.
base, you need,
Yeah.
go to
They're
the
very,
medical
very
base. You need
emaciated.
anything. And Valor is just, she's horrified, and this is awful. What's been going on, and she's thinking to herself, she says, "This has to end. We just can't keep doing this. This just has to end." So she's looking for the interns.
Yeah, as you make your way down towards the hangar, you see that the female intern that helped you discover everything, she's filling all the other interns in, and they're kind of looking excited. Very gaunt, dirty, but they're very much listening and taking notes on fresh data pads that they were given. And the Admiral's standing there, and his eyes are, he's got glossier eyes, almost as if he has cataracts, the Mon Calamari Admiral. But he's listening, and he says, "Right away, I'll go tell Valeria." And he walks towards you, stops for a moment, and goes, "Valerie," and then continues on.
She touches him and just nods and, pats him. "I'm glad you're okay." And when she sees the intern,
grabs your arm. She actually grabs your arm real quick before you go over there, real tight, and then gives you a hug. Yeah. "You're a genius, Valerie. We're going home." And then he releases you and heads towards the bridge.
Valerie goes up to the interns, and as she sees them, she just puts her arms out just to go and touch them and hug them. And she's, "God, I'm just glad you're all okay." And in her mind, she's still worried about poor Tun, she's like, "Oh, please, I hope they get to him."
Right. So Edos and Grakazza, you are coming off the vessel, and the doctor and the medical teams are getting ready to take her body down to the infirmary. And that's when somebody runs up to you. "Grakazza! Grakazza!" As Edos is walking down with the body. You're muted. Don't get that face with me. No. He says, "Tunpo and Jebediah, the bomb went off. No one's heard from them. Down in engineering."
I just start sprinting.
Edos, do you stay with your sister or do you go with him?
Once I hear Jeb and Tunpo, I quickly look at my sister's body and whisper, I'll be right back," and I chase after him.
Yeah, you chase after him, and you take the shaft down that Grakazza leads you to back to engineering. There's smoke all over this area, Grakazza. It's your old room that's on the side of the engineering channel, and the tram is there so that you could take it to the storage wing where they are. But it's full of smoke.
Are there any local controls to vent the smoke?
Yeah.
I activate those so we're not choking on it the entire way through.
And you're an engineer. You've done this before. Happens when you guys are down here welding, and the smoke starts to lift. And when you see that, you see Tunpo's standing up. He looks dazed, and then he turns over to you, and half of his face is disfigured. And then that's when Edos bumps into your back and sees the same thing.
You get him. I'll go get Jeb.
All right, careful moving, Jeb. And I run over to Poe. I say, "Poe, can you walk?"
Tunpo, all you hear is you can't hear anything.
He doesn't really even reply. He just kind of looks at Grakazza.
Yeah, he is walking currently, Grakazza. He's like standing there like, whoa.
I place a hand on his unburned side and start shaking him a bit to try and get him to respond. Just very gently, not trying to overdo it.
I think Tumpo realizes, that Grakazza's kind of like snapping you out of it, but you still won't be able to hear him.
Right. He kind of just covers his ears.
Yeah,
And
when you
shakes it.
cover your left ear, you realize it is sticky and moist.
Mm. He looks
It
at
appears that there's some like, it feels like spit or something on your ear.
I assume I'm looking at blood on my hand.
No, when you look at your hand, you don't really see anything. It's staying on your ear, but it's really sticky and drippy.
I keep wiping at it.
Grakazza, you see him wiping at his wound, and he starts to peel some of the skin off his ear. Like, what is this?
I grab his wrist and I just hold my hand up saying stop, and I start leading him down towards the tram transport.
Yeah, the tram transport's right there. It meets on either side of the storage container.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Grakazza, as you look back as you're taking him, there are body parts of a white male strewn about the entire area. You're seeing shoes and hands and blood everywhere. And Edos, you're looking for Jeb, and that's when you see his crumpled body in the corner. And he's got a bone sticking out one of his legs, a huge lump on his head, and a nasty dark bruise on his ribs where his shirt was torn open from the explosion.
I'm gonna go over and start trying to pick him up to fireman, carry him out of there.
Okay, you want to roll a medicine or just do it?
You know what, let's roll a medicine.
Because I think you were in law enforcement long enough to know that you probably shouldn't move him.
Yeah, okay.
Since he can't stand on his own. You're like... and
Oh,
you
God.
start running. You're like, you're fine. Turns out you killed him, but you don't want anybody knowing. It's like Weekend at Bernie's. It's like, hey, Jeb, hey, Edos.
What's the difficulty on a medicine check for this?
It's going to be average. This is like...
Okay,
I'm just seeing if in the heat of the moment you think of this. Because you're pretty stressed out.
Yeah. And... yeah.
You do think of it in two more strain. Seeing your friends like this, especially
okay.
Toon-Po, you couldn't even really make eye contact.
I max that strain.
Okay, guess what that means? I don't make you pass out. I think that's not very good. Instead, what I make you do is every roll that you make, I get a free upgrade on my side.
Okay.
Because you're that stressed out. You have the more chances for despair.
Great. Okay. Yep. Got it. All right. Then I see that I can't move him because I'll do more damage. So I'm gonna try to wake him up so that he can just like be aware that he's there.
Open your eyes and
So he doesn't try.
shine.
So he doesn't try to like
Right.
jump around.
You kind of shine a light in there. He's not waking up. He's definitely got a nasty concussion. He probably has fluid on the brain.
I'm gonna calm Grakazza then.
Yeah, Grakazza, you're loading up Toon-Po into the tram.
Hey,
Hello.
Grakazza. I need a medical team down here. I can't move him.
All right, I'll contact Valerie, and I radio the bridge.
Yeah, you radio the bridge or you radio Valerie because she is not on the bridge anymore.
I think you would originally radio the bridge, assuming that she's still there.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you radio the bridge. Valeria's like, yes, sir.
We need a medical team down in engineering by the storage area.
Roger that. I'll send them. Things might get jumpy.
Understood.
We're getting out of here.
Welcome back, Valeria.
She nods. And then she looks out the window, and what she doesn't tell you is there are several dozen Hunter Corvettes coming for the fleet. Valerie. One of the interns that was on the planet who's roughed up, she's patting herself. She's like, I don't know, it's just going home. If we went home, we would be arriving at the same time that we left, which means we're going to see Praxis 5 being burned. But more importantly, we can contact the rebellion. If there's any doubt that Ensaria was on the fence about joining the Empire, if we can save that planet...
That's a lot that we will have to think about once we get back there. But right now we need to get back there. But we need to make sure that all of you are okay. And if
you hear her gasp,
or...
and you turn around, and the doors open, and Grakazza's got Toonpo in his hands, and you see Toonpo's condition.
Hold on 1 second, and then she goes over to them. Is he alive?
Toonpo
she says to... Oh, wait, is he walking or he's carrying him?
He's walking. He's just like...
he's walking. Okay,
yeah,
that's right.
My bad. Oh. It's a confusing scene. And my audio keeps cutting out, YouTube.
She wants to go and touch him, but she knows it's going to cause him probably a great deal more pain than he's already going through. And she just,
I would imagine, I mean, his other side of the face is fine.
Just get him to a back to tank. If not, oh no, we don't want to put him in that one. I was going to say the one on the Star's End. Just get him to a back to tank if we can.
Boom, Grakazza, you think about it. The one on the Star's End.
That might not be a bad idea.
Well, now you remember what it did to you.
Right, but it could also potentially help out Toonpo.
Medical staff pass you guys as you're talking. They're getting ready to head down to where Edos is.
I don't know about...
It's up to you if you want to do it.
Toon, is there anything you want to do or say as you see them talking to each other? You can kind of hear what Grakazza's saying because your good ear is pressed against his chest.
It seems, at least from the conversation, that they have implied a back-to-tank, and I know nothing about it, or what it does.
And
so,
you know it's on the troublesome experimental craft.
That's true also.
Because you've seen it. You've walked around that ship enough to see the... First off, all the dents in the wall from Grakazza punching them. But you see the back-to-tank. And you've seen how it's rigged with extra wires that you've never ever... I mean, this thing has a lot of wires attached to it. A lot of computers in that room.
If I imagine that I can force words without really being able to hear them myself, kind of.
You can't. Have you seen Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah. I don't recall what it's...
When they first meet Easy Company at the glider crashes, and they go up to the one guy that had the grenade blown up in his ear and he couldn't hear anybody, he was like, "Hey, guys!" Like, he was yelling and just didn't realize it. "I can't hear. A grenade went off in my ear. It sucks. What do you need?"
I don't think also that Toonpo has any realization of the damage that is done, so I think he just yells, "I just need to sit down!"
Yeah, that's a good one.
I need to sit down!
I look at Val and I shake my head. I'm taking him to regular back in the tank. I don't want to do this to him.
All right.
As you
Go ahead.
guys talk, you see that the stars outside the hangar just streak as you guys enter hyperspace.
Good. Valerie breathed a sigh of relief. Like, oh, good. Get him. Go ahead and take him. I have to see what's going on.
Are there medical staff still passing?
Yeah, you see the doctor coming.
I
God.
motioned to the doctor to take Tumpo to one of the Bacta tanks.
He's like, oh my god, I must skin graft on him immediately before it settles. I need that tissue.
What tissue?
His skin, I need it while it's still there and not rotting.
All right, I follow him and Tumpo.
Pick his crippled ass up, he's too slow.
I pick him up and I start carrying him.
Like honeymoon carry?
I figure it's the fastest way. There's no time for a fireman carry.
Yeah, well that and he's like awake, he's like, what are you doing, Grakazza? Yeah, Grakazza, you recognize the Dr. Tumpo, and they all start running towards the med bay. Valerie, do you want to go with them or do you want to head back up to the bridge?
I'm going to head up to the bridge.
Alright, we're going to fast forward a little bit. The screen kind of fades out of the fleet traveling, and it says 3 days later. Tunpo and Jeb are inside the medical facility. Jeb's in a wheelchair, but he's doing well. He's very drugged. He goes in and out of sleep, but the wheelchair's reclined. Tunpo is in a hospital bed. He just recently had the gauze taken off his face, and his skin is very shiny and very smooth. The doctor has explained that it's going to take a long time for that to heal, but he believes the skin replication process went on without a hitch. Grakazza and Edos are there. Grakazza's with the doctor talking about Tunpo and Jeb. Where would you be, Valerie? Would you be with them? Did you want to hear about Tunpo's well-being? Oh, sorry. Did you want to be there, Valerie, with Grakazza and Tunpo?
Probably. I'd be there to check on them and check on the others and make sure people are at least have been cleaned up and are given something, clean to wear. And
maybe
just
within the last 4 days, would you have just offered to help the doctor?
Oh, sure. Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
so I'll say you've watched Tunpo's progress. Even though his skin looks all shiny and scabby, you know that as long as he takes care of it, within a few months, probably it'll heal. And he had the doctor carved a silicone ear and grafted skin to it. So he looks nasty now, but he's actually doing pretty good.
And hopefully, if and when we do get back, if there's any other work that needs to be done for any of them, we can get them to a regular hospital of some kind.
Absolutely.
To get some kind of proper, I'm not going to say proper care, but more advanced or more than.
Well, I mean,
you
guys are low on supplies, so that's probably a good idea. Yeah. Edos, you're on the other side of the infirmary, and before you is a torpedo whose top has been opened, and they've preserved your sister and decorated her as if she's a fallen soldier. So she has the flag of the rebellion draped over her body. All it needs now is for you to put it over her head and she could be launched into space. People who knew her on her security detail, and even some of the prisoners on the planet that she smuggled goods for, have put in flowers all around her body. And as you're looking at her, in your hand is the photo of her son.
As I look down on her and in the photo, I set the photo in her hands, put my hand over hers and go, I should have let you kill them. Maybe I can fix this. I'm sorry. And I finish up and let them launch her.
Yeah, they seal it, and then they give you a pamphlet on when the launching ceremony is going to be. They're going to launch all 452 bodies.
Is Valerie nearby when this is going on?
No, you're on the other side with the people
Okay.
who are needing medical
She
attention.
wants to find him at some point.
I think that's fair. I think if you're looking for him, you notice Grakazza's there. You do see him, like, with his hands over his face, and they're getting ready to close the torpedo.
So Valerie's going to come up to Edos kind of gently and kind of put her hand on his back and take his hand and say, I haven't had a chance to see how you're doing. I heard all about what happened. I'm so sorry. And if there's anything that I can do.
Since Edos is in a bad place, once she grabs his hand, he quickly pulls it away and looks at Valerie, and he's like, y'all should have never saved me when the Trade Federation was coming to get me. You should have let them take me, and she'd still be alive. Just don't. And I push past her and walk out of the infirmary.
Yeah, and I say as you walk out of the infirmary, you see there's a man across the way in a wheelchair who's kind of drugged up, and he looks around and he reaches over and unplugs one of the wires, and he wheelchairs over to you. Edos. And he looks kind of woozy. He reaches in, he reaches into his, like, armored vest that they have draped over the wheelchair and hands you the flask of the moonshine that he makes.
I grab it and I look at him and nod.
And then he just nods and turns around and goes back to the hospital bed and sticks himself again with the IV.
And I'll just leave. I'm pretty much headed towards the hangar to the Star's End.
Yeah, if you go towards the hangars to the Star's End, you see the beacon outside your hangar.
I say to myself, just a little longer. Just a little longer.
Can I follow him?
Edos isn't exactly being secretive, is he?
No, he's just...
Yeah. You can follow him if you want.
She's just going to follow him and see what's going on, where his head is.
Hello?
There was a bunch of stuff falling in the bathroom, sorry. You follow him and kind of see the exchange between him and Jeb. You keep your distance, and then you continue following him into the hangar. And he's just looking out the shielded openings. There's a few troops in here and stuff, preparing ships and shuttles that they were able to pull off the surface.
Pretty much as I see that, I'm going to then go to the Star's End and go inside, and I'll pretty much find a spot in the cockpit and just take off my hat and jacket and just start drinking.
Yeah, do you kick your feet up like you did before when you and Jeb would drink?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe there's a spot on the dash where there's, like, no dust. This is where you always put your feet, so you kick up there. Yeah, he goes inside the Star's End.
Once she's going to give him a couple of moments and then follow him up inside them.
Yeah, you hear somebody coming up the ramp.
I don't pull my blaster just because I'm kind of hoping someone's gonna hurt me.
Right.
So I just kind of just sit there and just keep drinking. don't even acknowledge whoever comes in.
Yeah, Valerie, you see him up there. His back turned to you. And we're going to go ahead and cut across to our break. We'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes for the last part of tonight's session. Thank you all very much. If you like what you see, hit that like button. And if you want to see more, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. You'll find out whenever any of my role-playing games come out. Until next time, bye-bye.